Hello everyone, Jamal Robinson here, astrologer, metaphysician, writer, and much more. So today I want to take a look at the North Node in Taurus and take a little deeper look at it as it relates to relationship, which means we have to consider a fuller scope of the ruler of Taurus, which is Venus. As you can see here, Taurus is the natural house or the natural sign on the second house, okay? And I have its ruler here on the board. This is Venus. You also see I've drawn in the North Node symbol, okay? So the North Node is where our collective attention is focused in the world. So it's no wonder that we have such volatile energy around money, around resources, i.e. oil, gas, food, water, all types of storms, earthquakes, volcanoes. There's a lot going on in that department, especially given the fact that the planet Uranus, and I guess I should add that, currently we have transiting Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now, Venus is not transiting right now. It's the ruler of Taurus. So let me put it outside. Therefore, we know it's not transiting, but it is the ruler. It's the despot, okay? With Uranus in Taurus, there's the volatility, okay? While the collective focus is in that area, we have the agent of volatility in that sign. Given that Taurus is ruled by Venus, and that Venus is also the ruler of Libra, which is over here, Libra over here, 7th house. We also have to take this into consideration as we think about the operations in the world while we have the North Node in Taurus. Because Venus rules both signs, they are entangled. Taurus deals with what do I have? What do I value? What are my possessions? What do I love? And the enjoyment that comes from having what I love. Taurus is pleasure. Taurus deals with, as I said earlier, our resources. Taurus deals with security. Security in the here and now. Security in what I have in this world, a three-dimensional world. Taurus. Now, as the energy moves around this chart, the energy emerges here in Aries. It then discovers what it has here in Taurus. It discovers itself. Okay? It finds security in its being. Okay? As it moves to the third house, curiosity increases. There's cognitive activity. There's thinking. There's speaking. We get to the fourth house. This is where there is identification with being a part of something that existed before I did, i.e. your mother, as in also the family, the heritage, the home. This is a recognition of the roots, Cancer. This is where the ego emerges as a self. This is where the dramatic child emerges. This is the creativity. This is the fruit. By the time we get here to Virgo, this is maturation, cultivation, realization that life is real, or an understanding that life is real. A sense of service. This is preparation for what? The maturation is preparation for what? For relating. The fruit goes to the market. So, whereas Venus here in her rulership in Taurus is about what is possessed, what is valued, the pleasure that comes from it. When it's over here, it is in its masculine expressive sign of how do I take what I have and share it in a relationship. With the North Node here in Taurus and resources being compromised more and more by the day, the relationship aspect of Venus becomes that much more important. But now, instead of the relationship coming from the other side of Venus's rulership, what I have, I'm presenting what I have. Now is the time where we have to kind of work backwards. In other words, resources are being compromised. Venus is a planet that expresses and receives love. It would be wise for us as a collective to look from Venus from the seventh house back to the second house of Taurus. What am I really saying? The quality of your relationships right now will have a lot to do with your resources. The quality of your relationships will have a lot to do with your resources. Meaning, are you capable of relating in a healthy manner? You see, this is a tough one because so much we've been so conditioned to be individualistic. Me. It's all about me. Social media, taking pictures, using filters. This is my good side. Do I look sexy? All of this stuff to present this image of me. But is that the real you? Because the real you emerges in relationship. Because relationship destroys the facade. Because once you're in a relationship, the filters are removed. The catchy text, the video optics, and the AI tricks and all that, it's removed. You're seen in the raw. What's really there? What's really there? And so humans are not designed to be isolated. I'm contradicting my own nature to a degree in saying it, because I'm an Aquarius and I value isolation, but it's healthy isolation. I need periods of isolation and quiet and to still away so that I can be functional in any relationship I'm involved in. I can't always be on the stage. I can't do that. I need time to get away so that I can relate. Learning how to work with my energy. Because ultimately, to incarnate into a body is to relate. We don't come here to just go live in some cave somewhere and never have to deal with the other life forms that are here. We have to. And we have to learn how to form bonds and form long lasting relationships. And when you can convince people that relationships are a joke, or relationships are actually undeclared states of war, which is what many of our relationships are, no more than undeclared states of war. So if you're constantly at war with the person who's supposed to be your comrade, or the community that's supposed to represent your safe place, and there's no relationship, i.e. balance. And balance doesn't mean it has to be 50-50. It means balance based on what you and that other person, or within that group, what has been established as the balancing factors for right now. And then later we may go back and recalibrate the scale to see what's balanced down the road. But for now, this is what balance is. That's what relationship is. And right now, it is of the utmost importance for us as humans to be cognizant of the importance of figuring out how to achieve balance with the people it matters to achieve balance with. Some people it doesn't matter, but the people who do matter, how do I figure out how to relate to them and to find some form of cohesion? Because that directly ties into my ability to have resources. Food, we're talking about basic common sense here, basic survival. Wolves don't hunt by themselves, they hunt in a pack. Because there's an evolutionary understanding that has come about that we benefit each other by being in this pack. As primitive as that may sound. Something to be learned from everything. So while the North Node is moving through Taurus, and things will continue to escalate, especially given the fact that Uranus has moved back into, well, actually it's Saturn has retrograded back to 18 degrees, and now we have the Uranus Saturn square again. The old comes up against the new. Tradition challenges the future. rebellion versus the status quo, discipline, structure versus intuition. We have these colliding. And one thing we can say for sure, with Saturn also being the planet of karma, that what we have not given audience to, we may see the effects of it right now as Saturn squares Uranus in Taurus, the sign of resources, things that are valued. So if we have not been disciplined about wherever Aquarius is in our chart, which the sign of Aquarius is in the same elemental sign as Libra, air. So we're talking about mental structuring here. And that mental structure as it is expressed in relationship, see how we tie this thing in? If we have not been disciplined in that area, or we have not seen the necessity to be disciplined, then we are bound. We are bound. We can find ourselves being abused by the status quo, by the powers that be. But if we've been doing our work across the board, then this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Negate not the importance of being disciplined and doing your work, and also the importance of actively, cognitively being engaged in your role in whatever relationships you're involved in. Because again, it will have a direct effect on your resources. And we can see things are happening, and I think many of them are intentional. It's not just by happenstance. Things are happening to jeopardize the security that the collective feels around what they have. Well, that's enough for today. As always, I'm available for private sessions through my website, 720astrology.com. Till we meet again, be well. Peace.